What are you studying?
Microbiology.
Oh, cool. So you could study me.
I don't understand.
That was the first time Howard Wolowitz met Bernadette Rostenkowski, and if you're a fan of The Big Bang Theory, then you already know that despite this inauspicious start, their relationship was going the distance. They would move in together, get married, have kids, the whole deal, but it wasn't always supposed to be that way. In fact, Melissa Rauch's Bernadette was never really meant to be more than a single episode guest star. Of course, that was before they realized she was going to solve the Big Bang's biggest problem.
I couldn't ride a bicycle because my mother was afraid I'd hit a bump and lose my virginity.
Oh, wow. You didn't, did you?
Not on a bicycle.
We'll break it all down to the atomic level, but first, why not take a moment to subscribe to the Nerdstalgic channel? The Big Bang Theory debuted on September 24th, 2007.
Oh, hi.
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 But if you watched our video about the very weird version of Big Bang Theory you never saw, then you already know the original pilot for the hit series was extremely different from the show we're used to seeing. Sensing potential but not fully satisfied with the version they had, CBS ordered the series to be retooled, which primarily entailed replacing the original female lead, Katie, with the now familiar Penny. But noting that the most positively received element of the original pilot was the dynamic between Sheldon and Leonard, co-creators Chuck Lorre and Bill Prady decided to add two more friends to their nerdy circle, Raj and Howard. Like Sheldon and Leonard, Raj and Howard were brainy scientist types. Played by Simon Helberg, Howard is an aerospace engineer and MIT grad who trains to be an astronaut and actually goes to space. But unlike the other three, Howard is, to put it kindly, incredibly aggressive with women. To put it less kindly, he's a sleazy sexist pervert and serial sexual harasser that would never make it onto television in a post-Me Too world.
More precisely, we used your loofah. I exfoliated her brains out.
Some of Howard's creepier antics include things like stalking the cast of America's Top Model with hacked military technology, allowing a female friend to get beaten up because he was horny to see a cat fight, and hiding a webcam inside a teddy bear he gave Penny as a gift so he could spy on her. And that's really just the tip of the cringe-inducing iceberg. Of course, the other three guys on the show also behaved badly at times too, but Howard was the worst regular offender by far. Like How I Met Your Mother's Barney Stinson, he was an unrepentant horny guy trope that had been a fairly common staple on sitcoms, going at least back to Sam Malone on Cheers.
All I can think about is getting home and jumping into bed.
Need anybody to break your fall?
But with times changing, Howard attracted criticism right from the start, including occasional calls for him to be removed from the show, and even Helberg didn't defend the character against the backlash he generated, later explaining, people were very unhappy with some of the things Howard would do or say, and I was like, yeah, I agree. But although it wasn't really evident so early in its run, The Big Bang Theory was going to be the kind of series that allowed characters to evolve. And the evolution of Howard would begin with the arrival of Bernadette in Season 3, Episode 5, The Creepy Candy Coating Corollary. Bernadette worked with Penny as a waitress at the Cheesecake Factory while paying her way through grad school to become a microbiologist. Penny sets her up on a date with Howard at Leonard's request, and right from the start, the date goes badly.
You like magic?
Not really.
Okay.
Howard spends most of it searching for an interest the two have in common, while Bernadette casually shoots down everything he can think of, from role-playing games to puppies. But later on in the night, the two wind up bonding over the surprise realization that both have ridiculously domineering mothers. And by the time it's over, the date is a genuine success.
It's a date.
Am I a matchmaker or what?
Bernadette reappears 4 episodes later, and we learn that by that point, they're already on their 3rd date. The truth is, though, Bernadette was never meant to reappear at all. In fact, the episode was so unconcerned with the audience remembering her character that her name is never even spoken out loud, appearing only in the closing credits. Rauch would later confirm, I was just supposed to be there for a week, and they said I was gonna do a couple more episodes. It's easy to guess why. From their very first moments on screen together, it's obvious that Rauch and Helberg have real comic chemistry as performers. And from a character perspective, Bernadette immediately proves to be a perfect foil for Howard's worst qualities. Her natural ability to keep him perpetually flummoxed immediately changes his vibe from aggressively sleazy to harmlessly neurotic.
Gals? Chicks? Euro-Americans?
Just eat your dinner.
Don't take him too seriously. A lot of what he says is intended as humor.
We never doubt that she has the upper hand, and we're not worried about her, even though we know he's basically slime. At the same time, there's a sweetness to it all. Bernadette's refusal to pander to Howard by feigning an interest in any of the stuff he brings up makes it feel truly meaningful when they finally connect over something real, and it's hard not to be charmed by their weird bond.
Howard, a girl doesn't go out with a man like you with your looks, your fancy patter, and your tight hoochie pants if she's not expecting him to eventually make the move.
Now, given Howard's controversial status among viewers, it would be easy to believe that the producers were deliberately trying to set him on a new course by introducing this new love interest. But Prady is adamant that Laurie avoided such planning ahead whenever possible and almost never wrote the show with long-term arcs in mind. In fact, Prady explains the addition of both Bernadette and Mayim Bialik's Amy Farrah Fowler as just being natural outcomes of the day-to-day storytelling, saying the characters added themselves by virtue of what the other characters thought of them. So there was never a master plan, there was never a design. But purposeful or not, the producers apparently recognized the opportunity they had created for themselves pretty quickly, and immediately went all in on using Bernadette to rehabilitate their most problematic character. In just her second appearance, she asks Howard for a commitment before they sleep together.
I need to know whether you're looking for a relationship or a one-night stand.
Okay, just to be clear, there's only one correct answer, right?
By the time the episode is over, he's in a stable relationship with a strong, smart woman that knows how to handle him. Roush, who would quickly develop her character's now iconic high-pitched voice based on her own mother's voice, would appear in 5 more episodes of season 3. In that time, Bernadette's status as Penny's co-worker at the restaurant would give her the chance to share the screen with the rest of the show's main cast. Her comedic chemistry was just as good with all of them as it was with Helberg, and she would be promoted to a full series regular in season 4. Smart, bossy, and funny, Bernadette would turn out to be a surprisingly layered character. Her typically nurturing and kind exterior combined with her diminutive height and funny voice obscured the fact that underneath, she was a fiercely determined leader and competitor who took no crap from anyone.
Going to roll up this newspaper.
It's a fake picture. You got wax in your ears? The man said it's an ordinary picture.
She was also capable of dropping a devastating comeback when the situation demanded.
You jerk face! What did you tell Howard? Did you say there was something going on between us? Because he thinks there is. He's completely freaking out.
And it made her one of the show's most consistently funny regulars. Despite being the ensemble member who was at the center of the least number of storylines, it's almost impossible to imagine how the series would have gone without her. She would grow into a friend for Penny, Leonard, and Amy, a secret love interest for Raj, and something of an occasional substitute parental figure for Sheldon. And while it's true she could be something of a bully with her friends, and was often a little too harsh on them, she was also a fiercely protective guardian of the group, always willing to defend them against outsiders or each other.
You better find my husband's mother, because one way or another, we're walking out of this airport with a dead woman.
Of course, her primary role would always revolve around her relationship with Howard. Her involvement in his life forces him to put his aspiring playboy days behind him, and for the rest of the series, most of Howard's stories are about their very traditional romance, their surprisingly wholesome marriage, and their love for their children. It's a pretty drastic change. That being said, Howard doesn't change overnight. Some of his creepiest moments come after the introduction of his bride-to-be. For example, there was the time he digitally cheated on Bernadette after having cybersex with another woman inside World of Warcraft while Bernadette was in the next room. And while they do eventually get beyond the whole thing, a lot of fans never forgave Howard for the betrayal. But stumbles aside, right from Bernadette's arrival, Howard was on an overall trajectory of being a better man. Helberg, for the record, was grateful for the change, later recalling, "It certainly was more fun to play him as his heart got bigger and he shed his layer of sleaze." And that's easy to believe because, from a viewership perspective, it was a lot more fun to watch Howard after that too. The addition of Bernadette fixed the Howard problem and gave the show one of its most memorable characters in one fell swoop. That's some real genius right there. So what do you think? Were you a fan of Bernadette, and do you agree she solved the Howard problem? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely find others you like if you check out the rest of the channel. As always, thank you for subscribing to Nerdstalgic.